Ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems, weavers and listeners all, welcome to another episode of Occupied with Stardust and Dragons, where we discuss the lore, character developments, the story thus far, and occasionally have the cast on to talk about themselves and their character. Today we have a familiar entity here on the show, the Madam of Mischief, the Paragon of Philandering, the flirtatious feline, the pretty kitty herself. You know her as the voice of Lyrax Proudmane. Welcome once again, Max Morin.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was a
thanks for
great
coming on.
intro.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome
Just
to our
let
lovely
Brendan
store.
take some notes.
You should have seen me like 10 minutes ago. I was like, what the fuck did we call her? It was, I know it
Pretty
was Pretty
Kitty.
Kitty, and it was something else.
Yeah.
So we came up with the flirtatious feline at the end.
I like that.
Right
I'm gonna
before I
write
said,
that
"Hey,
down
we're
real
on."
fast. I'm gonna put that in the messenger chat real quick, just for myself.
There you go.
Gonna raise so many questions.
For context, I'm just putting it there.
Well, I mean, in the last episode, we talked about how you need to have the ability to flirt more with some NPCs, because your subtle seductions are, really nice role play, and you do a good job of flirting. And Brandon going, yeah. So,
Are you suggesting that I make Brandon hot and bothered? How dare you? It's
I
scandalous.
would never put words in my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm pretty good at flirting, so it translates pretty well to my character.
Absolutely.
Not to mention, I do the over-the-top purring voice, so
Right.
I think it all just combines very well.
The voice brings it all together. It really
does.
does.
Yeah.
It's the cherry on top.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
gonna. Well, because of you guys, I'm gonna start leaning into that, especially since we're recording the next episode in just a little bit here.
Heck yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
try and find somebody to flirt with.
There you
I'll
go.
make it a mission.
So the first thing, when we get to episode 3, or episode 4, sorry.
Episode 4.
We get into this combat with the unmovable, which is hilarious because his first attack is to move and run at
Yep.
you.
He didn't really live up to the name, I'll be honest.
Yeah. But
The
it
best-
was Go
The
ahead.
best was when Lyrax said, grammatically, it's actually immovable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
like,
the one-liners.
I just about died.
Okay, I'm glad that came across good.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
It really did.
And it was actually a kind of a close battle, because it was like you
was.
lost the first round and then you won the second. It was kind of iffy. And the rolls, from what I remember, the numbers were relatively close together, and you had to use the crowd's inspiration on that last round to get that final edge.
Mhm.
So what was Lyrax's thought process, or not necessarily thought process, but what was like a little monologue for Lyrax during that time?
So I think, I guess, dipping into both of those, thought process and monologue to himself, this guy was just kind of an obstacle. He wasn't the main event. He wasn't who he was here to see. He had a mission in mind, and he was going to go do that. So this guy was in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't feel bad embarrassing him on the way out there, because
Absolutely.
he just felt like, this guy, he doesn't even know how to do grammatical things. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So he messed with them pretty hard. He's definitely a showman, so he wanted to make this first one like the up and coming rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Who's actually got some skills to him. Wow, look at him go!
Right.
Kind of get a little bit of crowd favor going for the final fight.
Yeah. And again, we did talk about it. Thorn mentioned it in last episode for Occupied With, but you going in there with just your butler's or your bartender's outfit, and like, oh well, I mean the armor's underneath, but you can't see it. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured that would add a little extra flair and be like, well, this guy is not here to fight. What is he doing?
Yeah. And I love your descriptions of your sword, because you do mention it quite a few times in this episode for sure, of how you've got this awesome, sick golden lion's pummel, but then the sword itself it's made for slaughter. That was your line in the podcast, was this is steel for slaughter. That was all it is.
Yes.
So I love your descriptors.
Yeah, I believe it's, well, yeah, I don't believe. I know it. It's a family heirloom of his.
Mhm.
One of the few things he still has from his time back at his home planet. One that has a very special name that I won't reveal here.
Yeah,
But that'll come up eventually.
there you go.
You know, I'm so used to them saying this that I know it's gonna be on the next episode now.
Oh
know.
no, not the next one.
we have
It'll
this
come up
running joke
eventually.
because when we were talking to Brandon, we were talking about Black Betty on Flip and Brendan's ship.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we were like, hey, like, you know, there in episode 2 it was mentioned Black Betty, and he was like, oh yeah, you will learn about it, you know, and he made it sound like it was going to be episodes, and it was the very next episode.
Like within 5 minutes of the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a dangerous little device they have on board. Even I don't
Can't wait
know
for
that
that.
much about that.
Yeah.
Other than it's very illegal.
Right.
Well, yeah, you guys attacked a bunch of cops because
Yeah.
I still love that scene. You know, Lyrax is finally sitting down, and you know, kind of at the end of the day of working in episode 2, because you were still mourning your sister, and then they get the page, and Lucky is, hey, there's some guards at the garage, and Brendan steps up immediately and looks at Flip as like Black Betty, and just it was like, we're going.
Flip was like, oh, it's probably fine. He's like, no,
No, not
Black Betty. Yeah. I
no,
remember
and
that.
this episode was definitely Lyrax's episode.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
It was it showed a little bit more about your past in it, and it really, especially towards the end of the episode, it really tried to pull on the heartstrings and get you emotional,
bit.
and
Yeah.
it's made you emotionally attached to the characters.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I'm straight attached. Like,
Heck yeah. That's
Yeah.
good to hear. I like that. That's definitely the only reason he won the fight, is because
Mhm.
Achilles let him win. I'll be frank about that. But you know, it was a good show. It was a good back and forth, and I think he won the battle of the hearts,
Yeah.
so to speak.
And I do love
Definitely.
you guys. It was so cinematic this episode. You know,
Oh,
there was a lot of music and a lot of sound effects. You know, the whole anime fighting of the what is it, the feline speed, or I forget what the feat's
Yeah,
called.
feline agility,
Agility.
Yeah.
combined with rogue dashing.
right.
It's just crazy.
And so yeah, just doing the whole Dragon Ball Z fight
Yeah.
scenes. But I loved the cinematic of when Deanna is describing her character crawling underneath the stadium, and
Right.
you failed the perception check to see her,
Mhm.
and like when she does the whistle, and it's like, and you know, it reminds you of the guerrilla tactics. I was like, ooh, like, I got a little bit of chills just from that intro. of
So
the
did I.
fight. Yeah.
I had.
Oh,
I got blindsided with that myself. I'll continue.
he texted me when it came on, when he was listening to it. Have you listened to it yet? I
Yeah.
was like, no, I'm busy at work. He's
Go
like,
listen to it.
guerrilla tactics, hurry up and listen to it. I said, okay.
Guerrilla tactics.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Amazing.
So, can we get a little bit of insight into how Lyrax was feeling, other than what we got on the episode? I mean, what was Lyrax feeling of seeing this person, you know, who was from the Golden Mains? And
It was such a mixed bag for him. There was a lot going on emotionally, because obviously he's attached to his people in a very intense way. He left everything to try and get help and save them. And seeing so many people get killed, and seeing so many people die for the cause, and this person coming out now realizes that shouldn't be a target of his fury, but like he wants to help them now, but he still has to fight and win and like prove that he can do it, and obviously they need the money or whatever.
yeah.
But like at this point it's like he has to try and win back his people's favor, and they're like emotionally, just the full tilt went through that fight. He was scared and angry and upset, and really he felt most of all, I think, failure, seeing one of his people here basically enslaved for the Colosseum, burned
Tortured.
with battle stars. Yeah. With those burns, especially, he was at a loss, but he powered through it, and he did his best.
Yeah.
That's the paladin side of him.
Yeah, and I give Deanna credit. She described the burns and everything perfectly. It really brought you to see it.
Yeah.
And I've been surprised at the emotion that this podcast, this game, has brought out in me in just 4 episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel Lyrax's pain from his sister, from fighting a fellow citizen of Achilles, somebody that was fought with you.
Yeah, fellow rebel.
You see Constance's fear. You see how much the 2 short ones, they just want money.
Yeah.
They're at this point they feel a little bit comedic reliefy.
Yeah.
But they're
still a little
important.
bit in there. Yeah.
There'll be some emotion coming soon.
Oh, I
sure.
love the fact that they're comic reliefy, because just the way they did it with like the background noise, the applauding, and you hearing "Don't lose."
We need the money.
And then towards the end, when Brendan, sneaks up to the end of the crowd as close as he can get, pops you with a spell, sanctuary. And you're like, did I just get paintballed? And and there was a joke of, Lyrax just gets shot in the head and dies.
Yep. This skill's over.
Brendan's like, I cast sanctuary, and then I send message. I'm like, hey, you really need to win. We got a lot of money riding on you.
That was the other part of the emotional wheels, is just the irritation for a brief moment.
And
he's like, I'm trying.
Yeah, you did so well though at the end when, obviously, Achilles was pretending to be unconscious, and the end of the episode. Not to give too many spoilers, because if hey, spoiler alert, if you haven't listened to the episode, this is about the episode, go listen. But when you drop down into a hug and you start talking to her, and you put a little bit of like a teary tone to your voice, that was rough. That was rough. That was well done, perfect acting.
Yeah, especially when it was like not hiding the tears, letting them flow. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I literally had to watch the episode today while at work, because Illadine reminded me. It's like, hey, we're doing this today. Did you listen? And I'm like, what? No one told me we're already good to listen. He's like, well, we both listened to it, so listen to it. Yeah. So I went through the whole episode and the roller coaster of emotions at work, and my coworkers are like, are you okay?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I'm on my little forklift and I'm just busting out laughing, and then minutes later I'm just like teary-eyed. I'm like, ah.
Meanwhile, the coworkers are like, is he losing it?
There's some crazy stuff over there.
I was even cheering when you were winning, and just those roles are intense. I was just like,
I give it up to you for acting through it, and for Brandon to help it. And Deanna was amazing.
Deanna's amazing. She's definitely one of my closest friends. I love her to pieces. We've done a lot of D&D stuff together before. She DM'd our Witchlight campaign that we did fairly recently. And she's just amazing. Her voices are awesome. Her scene painting is amazing and all that. I love her. She's amazing. Well, can't sing her praises enough.
A shameless plug. Can you send me her contact info? I'd love to get her on the podcast.
Heck yeah. I will.
Whenever, take your time. But
ask her if it's
okay. If I take my time, I'll forget. So I'm gonna pop a quick message. ADHD be like that.
Yeah.
No, what a question that I had was, what was running through Lyrax's mind as when Deanna was landing the strikes, and she would pop in with her little digs.
Quips, yeah.
Those digs were just like, they were pissing me off. I was like, you don't know what he's been through.
Yeah. How was that spa, Little Prince? I was like, oh, you bitch.
I was like, yeah, Little Prince this.
That was the angry part. That was why he kept fighting instead of just being like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
She clearly had a vendetta for him, and he was like,
oh yeah,
all right, she just thinks I'm all talk.
Mhm.
She thinks I'm just a leader that doesn't fight with his people. I'm gonna prove that wrong because I have a reputation to uphold with my own people, and
Mhm.
B, can't talk to me like that.
Right. And
It
I
was
love
good.
I have to give her credit for sure, because the line where she said, "I miss being able to rely on you as a person," when when Sanctuary was cast, I was like, "Oh, ow!"
Psychic damage taken.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm an evil DM. I would have actually given you psychic damage.
I would have taken it. Jeez, no, she was fantastic. The amount of venom she got to work in there was awesome.
Yeah.
That was an emotional fight for me too. I was mad. I was like, "What the hell are you saying?" And then my dice couldn't really back it up because just how mechanically it works. I was just getting my butt handed to me, but
Yeah.
I'll get stronger. I did get stronger after that fight. I leveled up. But,
Awesome.
Nice.
So I have to ask though, because I'm hard of hearing, so I listen on full volume, and so I noticed a difference in tone. Are you the one that rolls metal dice, or was it?
I do.
Okay, because I was like, there's a loud ka-thunk when there's a roll.
Okay, was that a good or a bad thing? What do
No,
you
it's
think?
a good. I like.
You
I
like
mean,
the
I'm a
thump?
nerd. I like the click clacks. That's my. I'm
That's fair.
a dice dragon.
I have so many cool ones.
Yeah. So getting into we'll get into a rabbit hole of going over dice, but I have spent entirely too much money on dice, and so has my wife Raven. Hi Raven. She was just looking at dice online the other day, and I was like, you didn't even open the last one. What are we doing?
Oh
now?
no.
Yeah. But they're pretty. But anyway,
she's one of my closest friends, and she's like, "I'm gonna get you some dice." I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
I'm not a dice goblin. I have like 3 sets of dice and I'm fine. But no, she's like, "I'm gonna buy you dice." I'm like, "No, you're not. Quit. Don't do it."
No, I have an addiction too. I have these cool like hollow ones with little metal dragons inside of them. I got these cool resin ones that have little mountains in them, and I'm like, they're just so pretty. I can't stop.
Yeah, my favorite that I have a set of 4d6 that are they're completely hollow. They're metal. That have octopus on them, because I'm a pirate and I love tentacle stuff. So
cool.
That sounded bad. I like octopus.
Okay, Terry.
Shut up.
You know what? I didn't even process for me. Continue.
But if you only hold one and shake it, it doesn't ring because there's no bell inside. But if you have the handful, they clink together and they're
That's
melodic,
exactly how my dragon ones are.
Oh, they're so nice.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Yeah.
That was what sold me on it, because I was like, $90 is kind of steep. I was at Dragon Con, and then he was like, "But look what you can do," and it made a beautiful chiming noise. And I was like,
Take my
fine.
money.
Sold. No, my splurge was stone dice. I have a set of Tiger Eye agate stone dice.
Yeah.
They were not cheap, but I saw them and I was like, I want those.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some really pretty ones, and now I need to stop thinking about it because my birthday's over.
See, the one that I really want, that I think that my table, hint, Thorn and Brian, we should all just make a pool for it. It's the Memento Mori dice, and it's made out of actual human bone, and it's from
I've seen those. Yeah,
it's the skeletons that used to be donated for science and stuff like that, and now they've been retired because of damage and whatnot. So this company buys the retired bones from universities and stuff, and then sands them down and makes D20s out of them, and they have this gorgeous display case for it and everything, and it's only like $400 or some shit like that. So it's like
for a single rock.
Right.
And it's it's for charity too, isn't it? Don't they donate to charity and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So that's why it's expensive. But but I looked at that and I was like, when we're doing death saves, why not human bone?
That would be just really cool. Yeah.
That's how morbid we can get.
Yeah.
So
I'm bringing out the dice, and you hear the case open.
Just have the music like creak, just.
I would purposely like rust the hinges. I'd have to.
Oh yeah.
So you could really get that grind to it. Yeah.
I'm
I have a
never
question for
coming
you
over
guys.
again.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
hold up.
This is unrelated to dice.
Okay.
Bringing us back to the topic. You're welcome.
Okay.
job,
Thank you.
I did mention I
We go.
leveled up. What level
Yes.
do you think I took? In which
5?
class?
Oh, I'm
Paladin.
hoping. I think it's Paladin, but I'm hoping Rogue.
2 for Paladin?
I'd say
Yeah.
Paladin as well.
You're right.
Yeah.
Paladin.
Yep.
He went to
I get that, lawful good or lawful neutral kind of feel from Lyrax.
he tries to be. This is part of the character, like one of the deep-seated like core values. He's lawful good and he wants happiness and goodness for his people, but he's not afraid to play dirty to get it. He's not afraid to use the means to get to the end. And there is a lot of that that'll be showcased later, because this is like the big Colosseum, like rah,
Right.
ideal for paladins, which is why he chose paladin level. But later you're gonna see some more things where Lyrax just kind of doesn't care.
See, and that's the best. I personally, I feel like that's the best thing for paladins, is to have that character struggle of like, I'm supposed to uphold these values, but right now this motherfucker, and really get into it. And I like that you did get those extra levels of paladin instead of rogue, because right now, at least from my point of view, I feel like Lyrax is feeling like, okay, well, maybe I don't have to be sneaky and I don't have to do the roguish things anymore. I don't have to be in that dark alley buying Stardust. I'm gonna stick to my values this time around and go for it. And so since you're nodding, I'm glad I'm correct.
Yeah. No, you are right. He definitely, that was a moment where he was like, I can do this. I can save my people. Even though I just kind of beat one up, but they really more beat me up, because
Right.
Fights bring a lot of things out in people.
Yeah.
That was
I
definitely
saw
a
it.
for him.
I saw it as an emotional victory for Lyrax.
It was definitely an emotional victory, yes.
So I saw it as like a trials and tribulations, and then the victory at the end. And it was very intense. It was one of the shortest episodes we've listened to so far. We've only listened to 4, but still, it was short. I mean, I was listening, and then it was over.
Yeah.
And I was like, what happened? But it was so emotionally draining afterwards, just from the roller coaster. And
Well,
I love
have
that
good
part
news. There's a lot more chill episodes coming up. You'll be okay. But yeah, I was so excited for you guys to listen to this one, because I thought the fight was so cool. The emotion we put into it. Honestly, probably at least in my top 2 favorite episodes that we put out so far. Like, just an awesome moment.
Yeah, honestly, like you told us that, hey, this is going to be an awesome episode. The next day I listened to it, then I text Thorn, hey, you need to listen to it. I was ready the next day. I was like, man, should we just like call Max and just get her on right now? Like, is she free tonight? I don't know.
It was Tuesday, probably.
Ah, man. So,
but I've definitely enjoyed it, and this was, I'm gonna admit, it was one of the best episodes yet. It seems to be getting better every episode.
it really has, yeah.
I'm glad.
And it's not just you guys, but production quality, music, sound
yeah.
effects, everything's just getting better and better.
We have some awesome editors that we brought on the team recently. I can't name them personally, but Christian's been working very closely with them all.
Yeah.
And he's been so proud of what they've been putting out. He's like, you gotta listen to this, and I'm like, I will eventually when I have time. I promise. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna listen to this episode because I want to hear all the ching ching things that happen.
No, it's really cool, and at least from an editor's perspective, I feel like they're starting to get their groove, at least by this point of editing. They have their shortcuts, and they have their soundboard kind of already set up, it seems like, because they've when you said lion roar, okay, it's ready, it's lion roar. When they talked about the swords, that we had the swords clinking. And so I feel like as time progresses, I can't wait till, let's say, episode 10, when the arc ends, because there will already be this library of effects,
This
you
isn't
can't
really
say
a
anything,
spoiler.
but
Not really a spoiler, but
okay.
episode 10 is a another banger. Episode 10 is an awesome one.
Oh, I can't wait.
I can't wait to hear the sound editing on that one.
They haven't even started editing yet, so
I have not actually. That's my job. I have to start that tomorrow. I'm the one that cuts out the bad parts.
That is a thankless job.
It is.
That is a thankless job.
So that's actually an interesting question, even for the talk show. Is so how do you go about deciding what to take out, like for your perspective, for your job? What are you taking out of the episodes?
So it's a podcast. So anytime anybody really stops talking for too long, then that gets cut. I leave it up to the person coming behind me. If they need to put in a pause for like sound effects or whatever, they can make the cuts there and whatever. But I'm going to take out all the stuff that we don't need. So that any like arguing about mechanics, I take that out because it's not really necessary, because the end result is what you need. Combat, that makes combat way faster. Like dice rolling, all that, just doing math and stuff. I try and cut to like where they say the big numbers, you know?
Yeah.
And beyond that, most of the back and forth banner we have is pretty good. And like all the stuff we do is pretty solid as far as when I'm listening to it. It sounds okay. So most of that stays in. Like that's mostly like unedited stuff.
Yeah.
I will say, I think in this next episode there were some carnival games that we did have to cut out, and Brandon needed to do like a summary of it, a voiceover. Because I went to open the files and it was like 2 hours long. I was like, cool.
That's always fun.
I'm like, I don't think I can cut that much out. So we have a whole like section of 2 different carnival games that get played that I think we'll throw up on Patreon.
Oh, nice. Point. Okay.
That's cool.
Bonus content stuff.
Hey, shameless plug for the Patreon. Stardust and Dragons has a Patreon at patreon.com/speakeasyproductions. And since we're here and we're doing plugs, we have one as well at /This Dungeon is Occupied.
Absolutely.
And we both have tiers for $5 where you can get bonus content and all those goodies. And already I'm a patron for the Speakeasy Patreon, and already the I think there's 13 now as of today of the posts. Yeah, they're super cool. Like having the extra lore come in, you know, and some of the artworks and things, and it's fun. Get on there. Go to Patreon. What are you doing? So yeah.
And thank you if you do.
Yeah. I always like saying like this is the only way that we can continue doing it, you know, because if we can't keep the lights on, it gets rather dark in here. So
right. I'll operate off the glow of my RGB computer.
Right. Put the mic really close to your laptop.
Yeah.
I just have to work off the computer mic and let nobody hear you.
Yeah. Oh dear.
But no, I'm looking forward to the next episode, really.
Yes.
And we actually got it just not long ago.
Yeah. So 4 is done. 5 is being worked on, as far as I'm told, because we just talked to Christian. So we will, as you know, listeners, we're gonna have everything ready a week after their episodes happen. So we'll, you know, look for both their episode and ours. And then also, if you want early access to the talk shows Occupied With, we release on Speakeasy and our Patreon 1 day after their episode. So you get 1 day to listen to their podcast. You know, for instance, this one, episode 4. Yesterday would be episode 4, and then boom, the next day you could have listened to this. But if you're not a patron and you're listening to this now, you're listening to it a week later. So hey, $5, you get it early, plus the bonus content that we have with Max before and after the episode. So hey, you're missing out. I'm just saying.
Yep. I just gotta hear these episodes that Brandon was on. I need to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Brandon and Christian
exciting.
Both.
Yeah. I'll send you the link, because his at time of recording, his episode won't actually come out until September. Yeah. So I'll send you the link.
Hey.
But hey, that's another thing. Be on Patreon, and you wouldn't have to wait till September. I'm just saying, early access. It's the thing. $5.
What works for everyone?
What's less than a Starbucks coffee for extra
I mean, honestly,
content?
I might, because you guys are super cool, and I want to see what other goodies you have going around.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, our Patreon actually goes back. We have probably over 100 episodes of extra content on there.
Yeah.
We got a lot of our just back and forth banter.
Yeah. And if you
get a chance to listen to the bloopers, listen to the bloopers. They're hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah. But listeners, if you do, we'll do our last thoughts here. But if you do decide to get into the NPC of the week tier, which is $8, we already have 80 NPCs that you could just go and listen to and catch up on. So yeah, it's just new
Have
content.
to steal some of those.
Oh, absolutely. That's what they're for. That's our whole motto.
Yeah.
Steal everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Thorn, final thoughts for episode 4.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I know I've been kind of a cheerleader for this podcast so far.
Yeah.
I am having so much fun listening to this. And you can ask these guys, I don't write anything down. I take notes
Oh really?
during
Oh, yeah.
these podcasts because I want to know the things because I forget easily.
Mm-hmm.
I'm old. It
Me
happens. Just wait. So I'm writing these things down and they don't believe me. And I've got a stack of notes like this thick already on
Oh my
just 4
gosh.
episodes.
Yeah. We have a clip in the bonus content where Pup was laughing at him and was like, "Thorn, you don't take notes." And he's like, "Oh bullshit. Oh bullshit." Just like-
Hold it up. Amazing.
I've been enjoying it. It's been so fun. And I've got a real emotional connection with Lyrax. And I mean, I applaud you. It's been so much fun to just in 4 episodes to see that kind of growth in a character. It's not very common, and you're doing an amazing job. Keep it up, please. I love
Well,
it.
thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm blushing, but I feel like I am.
Brian,
Zoom
your
may not
thoughts?
be showing it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I going off of what Thorn said, it's been a pleasure. Like literally, my all-time favorite character so far has just been your character. It's everything about it is just great.
Am I beating
And
Nana?
all the
whatever her
little
name was now?
one-liners and all that stuff is just amazing. It just adds to it, especially for me because like one of my favorite classes is Bard. So
Oh yeah.
vicious
Yeah,
mockery
he's
is
kind of
all I can
bardy
think
just a little
about
bit.
with
Oh,
all those
yeah.
insults and one-liners. I'm like, oh, it's so great.
He has that personality. If you hadn't said that you were a paladin rogue, I would have said, "Oh yeah, you're a bard. It's easy."
Paladin Bard would be fun to play, honestly.
But yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
am big time team. I keep Lyrax.
Yeah,
Sorry.
team Proudmane. Is that what you're trying to
Team
say?
Proud.
Proud Main. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And for me, I mean, I have to say, like, I have 2 favorite well, actually I have 3 technically, but 2 favorite dynamics because I have Lyrax as a favorite character as far as my emotional connection to the podcast and seeing things like really happen. And then I do have a chaotic side. So the 2 short men are like kind of near and dear just because I in all of my playing, and especially you can ask Thorn, any of my DMing, it is chaos. There's just something happening all the time, and that's
D&D
Flip
at its
and
finest.
that's Flip and Brendan, every
Yeah,
episode.
for sure.
Even this episode, it was 100% Lyrax episode, and Brendan just moseys on down and been like, "Hey, you gotta win. We need money." It's
Like,
it's
the
that-
middle of this super invested scene. It's like, shut up. But
And
no, that's much needed.
Yeah, I just love, and Lyrax brings out the sword and the golden lion's hilt and the steel ready for slaughter, and hey, you need to win. Hey, we need this. We have a lot of money on you. Like, damn
Don't
it, Brendan.
lose.
Yeah, it's great. And Christian, if you're listening to this episode, I mean, well done. You're doing great too.
He is awesome.
Yeah, everyone has honestly been awesome. I haven't had any real complaint with any of the RP or anything, and that's that's a testament to both y'all and to the production team, obviously. So hey, shout out production team. But you guys, I know that a lot of you guys are at least well acquainted, if not longtime friends, especially since a lot of you guys played on Ink and Lyre and stuff like that. And so being that friend group, it's a lot easier to kind of play off of each other. And also know a little bit of your personal idioms, because at a table, if I come at you with vicious mockery and you don't know that I'm in character, it could end well. Not end well, you know. It could be bad that I just called you a goat herder, you know.
Like, whoa. Yeah.
So, but you know, again, thanks for coming on, and listeners who are listening right now, we are in scheduling for getting Max onto the main podcast. This dungeon is occupied, so be ready for that, to get an interview about her, and then also a one shot. So there's going to be 2 whopping episodes for that, and she will be playing Elista. So this is going to be fun.
Yeah,
for sure. Up is actually going to be the DM for that one shot, so you'll actually be playing with Thorn and myself, and maybe Brian if he has the schedule. So we'll work
That sounds
out.
great.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And of course, final thoughts for you as well.
I once again very much enjoyed myself. Obviously, you know, getting compliments all over is fantastic. But sincerely, like the notes you guys have and the thoughts and the things you point out is just all like super on the nose. It's super cool to hear some of the same thoughts that I have, like complimenting, you know, Deanna's amazing playing, complimenting all the cast, and like the dynamic of the 2 short men kind of providing that relief. Like everything you guys say is super insightful. Even if we do go on rambles about dice, you know, I do that.
Hey, it happens.
that's part of our charm.
Hey, you know, sometimes you got to have that moment.
I would
Yeah.
love to say that it's our shtick and we do it on purpose, but it's not. We just go right into that rabbit hole and we're like, oh, look, a rabbit hole. Cool.
Yeah, no, I am definitely a rambler myself, so I understand completely. But yeah, it was once again a joy to have you guys. I'm glad you enjoyed episode 4. I'm glad you guys found it so emotional, and I look forward to coming back on to play with you.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. Can't wait. I'm actually looking forward to it a lot. I like Pup's actually a really good DM.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So
You'll like
it's
Elista
gonna be
in
fun.
character, I think.
I think, yeah, it's going to be cool. Yeah. It's
Yes.
She's
Look
chaotic.
forward to it.
great.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Great.
Chaos makes good.
Chaotic
So
crazy.
listeners, remember to check your dungeons, because this dungeon is occupied with Stardust and Dragons.